Hey everybody, it's Kyle. Hope you guys are having a great new year. 2018 is finally here. We can finally let 2017 go. Despite the fact we're only 5 days into the year, I think everyone's having a lot of fun so far. I am as well. I've been absent for quite some time, and there's a lot of reasons for it, but definitely the biggest ones were I obviously went to college, first semester at Hofstra University, went extremely well. So I am now, of course, on break. I'm going to be here just about all throughout the month of January. So I hope to finally be getting back into the swing of things, giving you guys reviews and just talking to you. So, of course, for today, I wanted to make a video that you guys really obviously enjoy, and those are my Blu-ray update videos. I'm going to be showing you guys every single Blu-ray I've gotten since I started college back in September. With one exception, I will be having one of the films I got in late August because I wasn't able to do a Blu-ray update video during the month of August. And I'm pretty sure you guys know which one it is. I have a ton of Blu-rays, so let's get into this. But at the same time, I hope that you guys stay tuned for after I talk about all my Blu-rays, because I have a couple things I really want to bring up. A couple things I want to change with my channel. So without further ado, let's start. So the first film in my Blu-ray update collection is American Psycho, directed by Mary Harron, and starring the one and only Christian Bale. I actually just saw this movie for the very first time on January 1st. What a great way to start off the new year, right? This is undoubtedly the most messed up movie I have seen since I don't even know. This movie is just crazy. It is absolutely insane, but it was very different and it was excellent. I loved this film in a very strange way. It's not the usual way I might love a movie, but the writing and direction were great, but it's totally Christian Bale who sells this movie. If his performance was not good, I don't think the movie would have been good. I think the film would have fallen apart. The character of Patrick Bateman could have come off extremely awkward and just clumsy, but Christian Bale added gravitas to the role. He added this level of satirical humor that otherwise wouldn't have worked in the shoes of many other actors. He was able to do that while also being the psychotic murderer that he is throughout. This is one of those movies that if you haven't seen it, I would recommend only if you can stomach it, because there's definitely lots of gore in this film, sexual stuff in it, but I would totally recommend it if you are interested in seeing a very different film. And also, guys, I'd like to know, do you like Huey Lewis in the News? Next up, we have the original Nightmare on Elm Street, which is the 1984 classic directed by Wes Craven. And this movie absolutely will scare anybody, at least in my opinion. This film definitely scared me when I first saw it last year. It was one of these string of horror films that I did a first viewing on. Another film I saw was Poltergeist, which I also loved, and I should get the Blu-ray very soon. But this movie was only $3.99 when I purchased it at FYE, which was an amazing deal. I was very, very happy with it. Next movie up is Baby Driver, which is the latest film directed by Edgar Wright. If you guys don't know, it is the only film I've given an A+ to this year so far. I still have a few more films left to go, but I absolutely love this movie. I've seen it 8 times already. 8 times! And I still love it just as much, and I would love to see it a 9th or 10th time. I really enjoy showing this movie to people who have never seen it, or some people who have never heard of it, because it just makes the experience that much better for them. And I think it's an even different experience for those who do not know who Edgar Wright is, or have no idea what films he's made. Because this is definitely his most mainstream film, you could say, because his Cornetto trilogy, a lot of British humor, and then you have Scott Pilgrim, which is a movie that there's like a certain group of people I know who just would not like the movie at all, and it's a very different film. But Baby Driver is definitely his most mainstream film, and it is a blast from start to finish. I mean, this movie, to me, has no dull moments. I think all the action sequences are great, competently shot. The movie just looks beautiful, and the cast is great. Of course, Kevin Spacey, but you gotta separate the artist from, the movies that he's made. Next up, we have Close Encounters of the Third Kind in its 40th anniversary edition. This is, of course, the sci-fi film directed by Steven Spielberg, starring Richard Dreyfuss. It's not one of my personal favorite Spielberg films. That being said, though, it has been a while since I've rewatched the entire movie, so I definitely plan to. I wanted to talk about this movie at the end of last year, but unfortunately, I just didn't have the time to do it, and I was sick as well. Following this, we have Stanley Kubrick's Full Metal Jacket. Of course, Born to Kill is written on the title. This is one of those movies where I think the first half of it is an absolute masterpiece. I mean, the first 50 minutes of this movie flies by. It is absolutely amazing. Every moment in the first half of this movie, I think, is perfection. And of course, the actor, I can never remember his name, but the actor who plays the drill sergeant. I mean, just unforgettable. The best drill sergeant ever in a film. Hands down. There is no comparison. He is phenomenal. And you have a really good cast, including Matthew Modine, Vincent D'Onofrio as Private Pyle, of course, respectively. You have Adam Baldwin. There's a lot of great actors in this movie, and it just really leads to a phenomenal first half. And the second half of the movie, I think, is relatively good. It's nothing that I thought was absolutely amazing, like the first half, or just in war movies in general, but it's definitely good. I'm not saying it's bad, it's just, I wouldn't say it's up to the caliber that the first half of this movie is. Next up, we have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, which is the sequel to the very successful and surprising Guardians of the Galaxy. I'll never forget the first time I saw the original film, back in 2014. I cannot believe it is almost 4 years. That's just incredible, but I just remember being, like almost everybody else I knew, very surprised throughout the entire thing with just how good it was. And the fact that James Gunn was able to develop 5 characters so well over the course of a 2-hour film. That's amazing. And in Volume 2, he expanded his world, at times maybe a little too far. It got a little crazy at times, but I still really enjoy Volume 2. I know a lot of people thought it was okay, or nowhere near as good as the original. Parts of the movie, I would say, is on par with the first movie. Next up is the 25th anniversary of Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, which was once again directed by Christopher Columbus, and again stars Macaulay Culkin, Joe Pesci, Daniel Stern, and basically everybody else in the McAllister family. I really enjoy Home Alone 2. It is not as good as the first one, but as a kid, I really enjoyed this film. It's been a while since I've seen the entire thing, and I definitely plan to. Again, like with Close Encounters, this was one of the films I really wanted to talk about at the end of last year because 2017 was the 25th year anniversary of the film. But unfortunately, I just didn't have the time to do it, and I was sick. So that kind of sucks, but I still might want to talk about this movie before I leave vacation. Next movie up is The Rock, which is directed by Michael Bay. This is the first Michael Bay movie I own on Blu-ray, which is kind of interesting. And it's also his best film by far, in my opinion. The Rock is definitely one of the most entertaining action films of the 90s. Why am I even saying this? I think everybody knows that at this point, but Michael Bay really did a good job directing this movie, and I know that that's very hard to say in terms of the movies he makes today, because really they're all crap. But The Rock is really, really fun. You got great chemistry between Nicolas Cage and Sean Connery. I mean, just Sean Connery in a movie is entertaining enough, as well as Nicolas Cage in a 90s action film. I mean, that's like the ticket to admission right there. Now, this film is a classic, School of Rock. I cannot wait to talk about this film. The movie came out in 2003, which means this year is its 15th anniversary, and this is the perfect time to finally talk about it. I hope to get the review off the ground very, very soon, because this is one of my favorite movies of all time. I absolutely love this film. It is a laugh riot from beginning to end. Jack Black was so perfectly cast in this movie. It's one of my favorite casting decisions of all time. I cannot wait to talk about this film. It's one of my favorite comedies. Stay tuned for that. Following this, we have a triple pack featuring John Wayne's The Searchers, The Wild Bunch, and How the West Was Won. This was a very good deal. It was only $6 at FYE, and I thought, why not? I should pick this up. The only one of the 3 films I hadn't seen was The Wild Bunch, and I finally saw it for the first time with my father because it's one of his favorite westerns, and he really wanted to show me that this was the first movie featuring really cool slow motion and that it was a really violent movie. Besides those 2 things, this wasn't really a movie to really write home about. I think The Searchers and How the West Was Won are 2 vastly better films than this one. The Searchers in particular is very good. If you haven't seen the movie, you definitely should. There are a lot of shots in the movie that I found out at a younger age actually inspired shots from the original Star Wars. And for anyone to talk about Star Wars and a Western in the same sentence, I had to see it. Following this, we have Signs, directed by M. Night Shyamalan. and I haven't even taken the movie out of its, little plastic casing yet, which is really funny, even though I got it in November. But regardless, guys, Signs is, I think, the first movie where people kind of went like, to Shyamalan, or this just sucks. But for me personally, I do enjoy this movie. I don't think it is perfect. I think there's definitely a lot of movie dialogue sequences, characters that say things that you're like, this is really cringy and really awkward. But I still really enjoy Signs. It's definitely I would probably say The Sixth Sense is my number one. Then Unbreakable, then Split, and then this film. It has a very interesting ending that has divided people for the past 16 years. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. Next up is SpiderMan Homecoming and its exclusive Target edition. I was actually very lucky to get this because it was a week after the film was released on Blu-ray. I went with a friend to the local Target by Hofstra, and I was looking around, and out of the corner of my eye, I spotted the very last one. I was so happy. I immediately picked it up. I was like, this is totally mine. And I'm very happy to have this. Spider-Man Homecoming is definitely a very fun movie. In my opinion, it's not on par with Sam Raimi's first Spider-Man, or especially the second one. But then again, that's because I'm extremely biased when it comes to those two movies. But still, though, I enjoyed Spider-Man Homecoming. It was a lot of fun. And I'm very happy to have this exclusive edition. If you open it up, you have a bonus disc, Blu-ray, DVD, and a very special comic book in here. So I'm very lucky to have this. Next up, we have Unforgiven, which is directed and stars Clint Eastwood, as well as Morgan Freeman and Gene Hackman, and Richard Harris too, but he's not in the movie for very long, so, because he's Richard Harris, he got top billing, but he's only in the movie for like 10 minutes. I don't even think that. But the major fun fact here is that Unforgiven is one of the few classic films, that I was lucky enough to see in theaters. They re-released it for its 25th anniversary last August, and I went with my dad to see it because he loves the film. And I did think this was a very, very good Western. Definitely in probably the top 5 Westerns I've seen, because I'm not a huge fan of the genre, but I definitely can be entertained by one. But Unforgiven is a movie that definitely broke the entertainment value and had a really interesting story on top of it. Next film up is War for the Planet of the Apes, finally capping off the Planet of the Apes rebooted trilogy, which I stated in my review that I was lucky to have seen all 3 of these films in theaters. I really got to see a true progression in CGI and motion capture. The motion capture work in this film is just unreal. I mean, everyone has said that, but it's so true. It is amazing. The line between reality and fantasy is definitely blurred with this movie. And in my opinion, this is definitely one of my favorite movies of the year. I know this movie has also caught a lot of friction. I know a lot of people who thought it was okay, or people who really hated it, like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. But in my opinion, I think it's definitely one of the best movies of the year. I think it has a very good story, and it's not the movie that you're expecting. And last but not least, we have Wonder Woman, directed by Patty Jenkins, and of course starring Gal Gadot as the titular character. Wonder Woman is one of those movies that I was not excited about for a lot of reasons, particularly because Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad were very underwhelming to me. And I just didn't really know what to think of this movie going in. But before I saw it, I heard incredible things about it. I heard it got critical acclaim, and it still has critical acclaim to this day. A lot of people love this film. In my opinion, do I think it is a great film? No. I think it's a great film in the sense that it's very inspirational to young girls and to women out there to be very strong. It is definitely a female empowering movie, but it's also the kind of movie that guys can definitely see and really enjoy as well. I think it's a solid movie overall. It's not a 10, for sure. There's definitely a ton of flaws in it, but I really do appreciate the fact that Patty Jenkins really brought this character to life and made her very strong and inspirational. And Gal Gadot did a great job as Wonder Woman. That's it for all the Blu-rays that I've collected since I started college. Not an insane amount, but I definitely got a pretty decent size. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed watching this section of the video. And for the last couple minutes, I just want to talk to you about some things I plan on doing with this channel. 2018 is definitely a new year, and we're coming up on nearly 3 years since I started this channel. And for me, it's definitely incredible to have been doing this for nearly 3 years. It truly is an honor. And it's an honor to have some amazing supporters of mine who really enjoy my content and, comment on it and share it. But I definitely think this year I'm definitely in line for some change. Because I've given a lot of comments thought. I definitely am a very sensitive person. And it's not that they're so threatening or anything like that. It's just, it's given me a lot of thought as to wanting to change up some stuff. And I would like for you guys to comment in the comment section down below one specific thing that I could do to make this channel better or to try to improve it. Because my goal is to entertain you guys. You guys are my audience, and I can't thank you enough for continuing to support this channel. I really can't. I would love to meet all of you guys one day, because you're the nicest people ever. And obviously there's some people who don't see it that way. There's people who are negative, people who do a thumbs down in the video and stuff like that. And my goal is to try to please as many of you as possible. It's not possible to please every one of you, but I try my best to entertain you guys. So I'd like for you to comment down below one specific way that I could change this channel. At the same time, I would like to make some more analysis reviews this year. I definitely have learned a lot from my 2 film classes I'm currently taking at Hofstra and will be taking next semester. There's definitely a lot of cool, really intellectual stuff that I didn't really think about from that specific point of view. And there's definitely a lot of films I'd like to talk about. I definitely am making one for Star Wars. That's for sure. I tried to make one last year, but I didn't really like the way I formatted it. And no matter how or which way I tried to do it, it just didn't come out that well. This time I think I have a really cool analysis video that definitely breaks down my nostalgia for it, but also really cool factoids about it that you guys may or may not know about. So that's definitely that section. And the final one, which was inspired to me by a friend of mine, his channel is Jack's Movie Reviews. It's definitely listed as one of my favorites on my channel. If you have not, definitely go to his channel. You will love his content. He is incredible. He makes some of the best video essays I've ever seen in my life. Definitely go to his channel, click that subscribe button. We're going to try to get him to 100,000 subscribers this year. I know he's going to make it, but let's try to get him there faster. And also follow him on Twitter. I'll put a link down in the description box below. But anyways, he recommended that I make reflection videos, which basically is me talking about a film. It doesn't have to be like an old film. It could be a film, I'd say probably before this decade, that made a personal impact on me either as a kid or a personal impact on me very recently. So I plan to talk about John Carpenter's The Thing in reflection format. And I'm still trying to get the kinks out as to how I want the format to be. So I'm not 100% positive on what the video is going to look like. But if you guys have any recommendations, I'd love to hear that in the comment section as well. Because I really do want to change up a couple of things. I don't want it to be the same old review stuff. I do have a couple reviews that I am going to make. I have one of them that I already filmed that I have to edit very soon. But I really hope that you guys enjoy my content. I'm so happy that you guys have stuck with me. I have almost 750 subscribers. I got almost 100 since I started college, and I only made one video. So honestly, guys, I'm really happy that you have stuck with me for this long of time. I truly am. I'm truly blessed by it. My analysis reviews have been doing very well. I got over 4,000 views just recently on my Edge of 17 video. That is insane, guys. Almost half of 10,000 views are with one video. I am blown away. I'm so shocked and I'm so happy with the positive responses I've gotten. So yeah, I'm very, very excited to start this year off fresh, to try to be as different as possible. And I hope that you guys will stick along with me on this ride. 2017, really besides YouTube, has been an incredibly successful year for me. And I hope that 2018 is going to be not just a better year for myself personally, but a better year for all of you guys. So Happy New Year. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video for me showing you my Blu-rays and then listening to what I have to say. Hopefully if you stayed through the entire video. Again, I'd like to hear your comments on what I can do differently for this channel because I think it's going to be very beneficial for all of us. Anyways, guys, thank you so much as always for watching and stay tuned.